The three different sales page strategies that you want to consider when you're selling your online courses or your learning campus, membership site, wherever you end up trying to sell your great content. And the whole idea of this is we want to be in a position where obviously we can sell some more courses, we can teach more students, and more importantly, share our expertise. So you've got a course, what do you do now? How do you actually sell it? It's one thing to have great content, it's another thing to be able to get people to actually engage or learn from you, and whether that's a free course that you're doing or a paid course, doesn't matter. You've got to be able to sell that course. And we're going to cover that in this brief introduction. I'm going to introduce the three strategies, and then I'm going to, later on, a couple other modules we'll add where we'll actually go over each of those strategies individual with some examples and how you might want to consider using them, and more importantly, when you would want to use each strategy for the kind of course or learning business that you've got set up. So what do we do? First thing is we want to go and try and figure out what's a sales page. If you don't know what a sales page is at this point, I'm gonna try and keep it as simple as possible. But for the importance of a course, we're going to usually have three pieces to it. The first one that many people look at is the description. So how are you going to describe the course? What is it about? Who's it for? What can people expect? We'll go into some different descriptions and strategies for the descriptions, but there's usually some text and or a video that explains what the course is about. So that's one piece of the puzzle. The other one is you have to have some way for people to register or raise their hand and say, yeah, I want to be able to take this course. So there's usually some kind of form, a button, something to get people registered or enrolled in the course. And then finally, many times there is an image that is related to the course. And that's just a visual way, a solid image to be able to share what it is that the course is about. And this becomes really important when you have multiple courses you're selling, and you'll often find that there'll be a list of courses. It's much easier to share and organize courses with a visual image than it is with just a line of text if you've got 1, 2, 10, 20, 100 different courses. So you want to usually associate an image with a description and a registration button for each individual course. And that's what we're going to cover, is kind of these different pieces, but they can be used differently, and that's the important part that we want to make sure that we understand based on the kind of course and the kind of customer that we're going to be sharing this with. And don't get hung up with the word sales and sales page. Again, this is just a way for people to enroll in your course, either paid or free. You're going to have to do some persuasion or be able to influence a decision for someone to enroll based on something, an image, a description, and then give them a chance to register and enroll for it. So that's the sort of the overview of what this sales page process is we're talking about. And next, we're going to look at three different strategies for this. So three different kinds of sales pages. You got one course. There's actually, I'm going to recommend three different types of sales page, and it depends on the kind of course that you're actually trying to sell. So what are the three different kinds of sales pages that you'll run into? Well, the very, very first one is usually, and again, we work in WordPress. We use WordPress plugins, and those are learning management system plugins or LMS plugins. We use ones such as Lifter LMS or LearnDash, which is our preferred one. But the plugin, the actual plugin that has the course content in it, that usually has a sales page for each individual course. And that's a description of the course, an image of the course, and a way for people to raise their hand and say, yes, I want to take this course. So I'll show you a couple examples of that so you can see how those work. The next one that you'll often run into is you'll find that the membership site plugin or the shopping cart that you're using, if you've got paid courses, some people have to pay before they can actually get to the content. They raise their hand and say, I want to enroll. But if it's a paid course, they've got to go through the membership plugin, the shopping cart, whatever payment gateway that you've got set up. And some people just use instead of the LMS plugin, they'll use the actual shopping cart product description as the sales page for the course. So I'll show you how that can work. So that's kind of the second one. There's some pros and cons to doing it this way. We'll take a look at that as well. And then the next one that you'll run into is a traditional WordPress sales page, a regular page in your WordPress site. And you'll often find people will just use either a regular page on the site or a template, a sales page template that's specifically designed to sell something. It's distraction free. It's got a single purpose. There's many different templates directly you can use in your WordPress site. And the purpose of that particular page is only to sell an individual course or bundle of courses. And it'll usually have all sorts of pictures and graphics and text. It's got a description and it's got a place for people to raise their hand and say, yes, I want to enroll. And these are I'm not saying that these are the only types. You may find different kinds of descriptions. These are the most common ones that I run into and that we actually create for customers. So we're going to take a look at some live examples of how these work, and more importantly, when you should use them and what are the pieces of each individual one that you end up deciding to use. Okay, so stay tuned. We'll be right back and we'll get into these individual sections, and hopefully at the end of it, you'll have enough clarity to make a decision and say, yes, I'm going to use this particular sales page style for this particular course I'm selling. The other thing, just as I say that, the one thing that pops to mind is just because you use one doesn't mean you have to use it for every single course. This can be specific to a single course if you choose to do it that way. Okay, so stay tuned. We'll be right back and we'll get into all the different sales page types and which one to use. Okay, let's take a look at strategy number one for sales pages for your course. And I'm going to show you two examples, a little bit different, but the first strategy is just to use the actual sales page or course description page that comes with the plugin that you're using for your LMS, for your courses. Now, this particular one that we're looking at right now is a LearnDash page, and there is another one, Lifter, that we use on occasion, which is a little bit different, but we're using LearnDash as an example. And this is just a WordPress site that is using the theme from WP Astra, and I'm going to show you another example that uses a different theme. So we've got two different themes in WordPress, but this page or the sales page is the same in both cases in that it is the default sales page that is for each individual course in the LearnDash plugin. So this is your first choice kind of thing. So it's one that most people use. But this is how it works. And remember, we talked about having a description, a way to order, and an image. So in this example, this particular site is set up so that when someone orders a course, they're actually becoming a member and getting access to all of the courses. This is just the example that's set up. Even though this is a course description, this business model says, hey, if someone wants to buy this course, they have to become a member to the entire site, and they get access to all of the courses. So let's take a look at different pieces here. Again, LearnDash, it's the individual course. You can see we have a graphic at the top, and this is just the featured image for the course. Standard WordPress featured image. Underneath, you can see the title. We've got not enrolled, what the price is. It's for premium members. And a take this course button. Get started, take this course. And if you look underneath, we've got a regular description. You know, how to use the Yoast SEO plugin. So about the course. What am I going to learn from the course? Bullet points. Who's it for? What are the requirements? Who's the target audience? And in this case, we actually show each of the individual modules or lessons that are associated with the course. So this is a type of sales page that can be used. And again, it's just pretty straightforward. It's got the content in a description. It's got the course content in a description. It's got a graphic image. And then it's got a way to take the course. So if someone saw this and they said, yeah, I want to find out how to use the Yoast SEO plugin so I can sell more courses and have my site rank higher for all my keywords and for the traffic or the niche market I'm trying to attract, I want to learn how to use Yoast. So I read through and I go, man, this is for me. I want to take the course. So I'm going to click. And in this example, it says, hey, become a member. Here's the pricing. And if I want to join, I'm going to have to pick one of these 2 membership packages. So that's just a type of example using the default LearnDash plugin. It's individual course sales page. That's the built-in one, nothing special. We've just got it set up so that instead of ordering the course only, it's joining a membership site. So let's go to the other one where you're not going to join a membership site to get access to the course. You're going to say, hey, I just want to pay for the course. So I'm going to go to another screen here, just show you how that works. This one now, this is on another site. It's the exact same LearnDash plugin. It's the course that I filled in the description for, but this one is actually a different theme. It's a theme called Buddy Boss. So you can see it looks a little bit different, and that's because the theme is different, but the way this page was created was just adding the course content to the individual LearnDash course. What are the pieces we have here? In this case, we do have a featured image, same idea. We've got a take this course button, same idea. We've got a title, we've got a description of all of the different pieces, and this is identical to the other course. It just looks different, but it's identical. It's got the description of the course, what are they going to get, who's it for, what is it about, what's the problems it's solving, what are the requirements, exact same stuff, same content. It just looks a little bit different. Now, what happens when someone takes this course? They're not going to join a membership site. They want to take the course by itself. So they're going to click Take This Course. And this particular example takes them to the shopping cart directly to the checkout where they can add their credit card details, place order, and then access the course. So these are just 2 examples. One is a direct checkout for a course. The other one is a checkout for a membership site where you have to choose between a membership site. But the actual sales page that was used is just the default LearnDash individual course page. And we had a featured image, we had a description of the actual course, and then we had a way for people to enroll. Okay, so pretty straightforward, and it's the one that most people use. And you can put as much or as little information as you want into these descriptions or featured images. This one has a ton of information. You didn't have to put any of it. You can just put a title and a sentence, or not just a title with no description. But again, it's just the default LearnDash course description. Okay, so pretty straightforward stuff, easy to do, nothing special. The next example I'm going to show you is, instead of using the default LearnDash setup, I'll show you how to do it using the product. In the second example, I'm going to show you a way that you actually don't even have to use the LearnDash page. You can use your shopping cart's catalog page. So what I've done in this next example is you'll see a LearnDash course, but it's set up as an individual product right within, I have WooCommerce set up as the shopping cart. So I have a course, and I also have a product. It's the exact same thing. The descriptions are the same. One is in the catalog in the shopping cart. The other one is the list of courses in LearnDash. So I just want to send someone right to the catalog in my shopping cart. I'm not going to send people to this page. I'm going to send people to my product catalog in WooCommerce. And you can see this is the 8-step process for selling courses. It's got an image, it's got a description and a price, the ability for someone to add to the cart. It's got, what am I going to learn from this course? It's got all the same kinds of information. And in this case, it has actually some upsell options at the bottom. But it's the exact same information, 8-step for selling process, same content, same content. But this one is the shopping cart. This one is the Learn Dash course sales page. So two different ones. It does the exact same thing. If I'm ready and I like this one and I go, yeah, I want to buy this course. I see all the information. I'm all ready to go. I can add it to my cart and I can continue looking at other courses. This is the important part. Or because I'm using the WooCommerce shopping cart, there are a number of additional features that are available within WooCommerce that can allow you to, for example, provide upsells or bundles or quantities of courses. So there's more flexibility in this shopping cart approach, and we'll get into detail on a later one. I just wanted to show you that some people don't use the Learn Dash course catalog. They just have a catalog in products in their shopping cart. And in this case, works exactly the same. I want to add it to cart. And in my case, there it is. It's in my cart. It's been added to my cart. I can continue shopping, or I can get ready to check out. So I'm going to view my cart, see what's in there. I'm ready to go. I got a campus pass. I don't want that one anymore. I'm going to get rid of that one. I only want the one course. Coupon. Am I logged in? Not yet, but we'll just proceed to checkout and we're good to go. So checkout, exact same process. So sales page with Learn Dash, sales page with your shopping cart. There's one more I'm going to show you, and then after that we'll get into some detail on which one works best in which situation. So first one is the Learn Dash course page. The second one is the product catalog or the product page in your shopping cart. The next one I'm going to show you is a traditional long form sales page directly within your WordPress site. So stay tuned. Okay, cool. Here we go. The third sales page strategy for selling your course. This one is a kind of traditional, and I say traditional in terms of internet marketing or online marketing. It's a traditional long form sales page. And this sales page is a usual sales page, is specific to selling an individual item, product, or service online. So many times when you see a sales page, in many cases you won't see any menus at the top or normal menus. This one I've just got a home login, my courses and help, very straightforward. A lot of times you won't even see a menu at the top. It's just a big fat claim or tells you what the course is about. Learn how to turn regular conversations into cash. Master the lost art of face-to-face selling. So this is my claim. It's above the fold. It's a sales page. And if you look down, you'll see it's just a whole bunch of text about the course. And this is follows a same traditional sales page where it's outlining a problem. Here's the good news. Here's the bad news. Now read it. And it's a very conversational, engaging text sales page. It gets people excited about what the problem is and, more importantly, how to fix it. And how do you fix it? Of course, it's take the course. So long form sales page, what happens in the real world, all this great stuff, examples, and it's my face-to-face selling mastery course can make it happen. And goes through all of it. And then what does it say? It's got all the things that are in the course. It's got some testimonials, all sorts of great stuff. And a couple places it has, the Buy Now button. It doesn't have a link to a whole bunch of courses. It doesn't say enroll. It doesn't say add to cart. The single purpose of this is to sell one individual course or one individual product. So if I want to sell a particular product or service and my market requires that I use very sales-oriented descriptions of a course, most times you're going to want to use a long form traditional sales page. And the way that they work is it's a lot of content with a unique description, and then there's a single button that says buy this course. And in this case, this is the Lifter LMS, is how I'm delivering this course, but the Buy Now button goes directly to the checkout of my WordPress site. And if people purchase it, guess what? They now have access to the course. Okay, so the third style is the long form sales page. And what I'll do in the next videos, I'll kind of tell you, give you a little grid as to which one you want to use depending on which kind of course that you're selling. So a quick recap, 3 different strategies. One is a default LearnDash or the LMS plugin course description and purchase. Second one is using the shopping cart or membership plugin or whatever you're using to take payments. You use that product catalog that is with that plugin. The third one is to use a sales page or a templated sales page on your WordPress site with a buy now button that allows people to go directly to pay and access the course. 3 different styles. The important part now is how to pick the right style for what it is that you need to do to get people to buy your. You've got 3 types to pick from. How do you decide? Well, that's what we're going to cover in this lesson. What it is we're going to talk about 4 things to consider when picking from those 3 types. So 4 things to consider when picking between the 3 types of sales page. So I want to make sure that you've, they're going to have a little bit of task or homework here. So make sure to write these down because I'm going to ask you as we go through them to make some notes on each of these 4 things that you need to consider. So what's number 1? Very, very first thing, of course, is the number of courses being sold. Well, what do I mean by that? Well, think about this, for example, if you are selling 1 course or you're selling 100 courses in 4 different categories that cover a whole bunch of topics and subjects, and you're not even the only author of the course. So perhaps you have 10 different teachers selling courses. Do you think it would be a different kind of sales page that you want to pick in those 2 situations? Yeah, absolutely. So the first thing to do is I want you to write these down. I want you to write a short-term and long-term goal when you're thinking of your learning campus, your education business. Am I selling 1 course or am I selling a whole bunch of courses? Am I selling 1 course or a whole bunch of courses? Okay. Second thing, the types of products that your education business will be selling. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, let's say you've got a learning campus and all you're doing is you're selling single individual courses. May it be 1 course, maybe 10 courses, could be 100 courses, but you're only selling courses, individual courses. You're not offering memberships. You're not offering anything other than those individual courses. So that may be one situation in your business model, but perhaps your business includes things like digital products like ebooks, templates, other things that are downloadable. Perhaps you're selling services like coaching, consulting, software as a service. You've got other products and services that are more or that are in addition to just courses. Maybe you're selling physical products. Maybe you actually have to ship something. So you're selling digital goods and physical products. So again, write down and think of the different things in the short term and in the long term that you're going to be selling, and make sure that you write them down. Memberships, digital, physical products, all of that stuff that you're thinking about considering in the future, make sure that you have at least a list of some of them, because that is going to be one of the things you need to consider when picking the type of sales pages that you're going to be using on your course or courses in your education business on your learning campus. What's next? Potential student types. Now, what do I mean by this? Well, I would think that at this point you have a niche market or a student avatar, someone that you already know has a need and a problem that you're able to fix or solve with your course. So you've got to have to, you need to have a really good picture of this, because you understand the problem they have, and your course is designed to solve the problem. So write down that student avatar, make sure that you're absolutely clear. And the reason that this is important is because if that potential student is a senior executive in a business, or it could be a stay-at-home small business owner or a consumer, do you think that the type of sales information that they would need to be persuaded to buy or take the course would be different? Yeah, absolutely. So you have to think about what kind of information, and how does that information need to be presented to persuade and influence that potential student. So make sure that you have a solid avatar, that niche market, or you know exactly who the target student is, and that you know what kind and what quantity and quality of information they need to know about the course before you pick. And finally, the price of the course. If you are selling, again, courses that are very, very expensive, or bundles of courses in packages as an example, or courses with other services included, that kind of sales page that includes the course is going to be completely different in terms of someone who is selling a $5 course. So you need to have a different amount of information and a different type of sales process when you're selling something that is of low price versus something that is of a higher price. So take a look and say, okay, right now, how much are my courses going to be? How much is my membership going to be? Am I going to be doing something now or in the future that tends to be very, very expensive? And if that's the case, you're going to have to decide, what type of sales page am I going to use throughout my campus? And how am I going to make sure that I can fit all of these 4 things into that when I'm considering what sales page I should use for my education business? Okay, so take a look at this slide, make some notes right now, and make sure that you have some good answers. What we'll do in the next session is I'll just go through some examples of sales pages that we've created and why we use them based on this criteria. Okay, so we talked about the 4 things to consider. Let's apply those to our 3 types of sales pages. And the first one I'm going to start with is, I consider it to be the most flexible. And what is that one? Well, that is definitely the LMS plugin sales page, the actual sales page that gets created in LearnDash when you build out your course. You add a course, it's that sales page. That's the one that I recommend that you at least get started with. And in most cases, it's more than enough to use in your learning campus, your education business. But let's take a look and see some of those criteria that I talked about and how it applies and where it best fits. You can use the LearnDash, and I'll use the word LearnDash instead of LMS, but you can use the LearnDash plugin, those sales pages, to create or be used when you're selling one or multiple courses. One of the nice things that a plugin like this does is it allows you to create a course grid or a course catalog of all sorts of courses. So you can use it so that you can create an individual sales page for one or multiple courses. And there's no limit to the number of courses you can add to your campus. This plugin sales page works well with that. The next thing that it works really, really well for, not exclusively, but it works well when you're selling a course. You're not selling access to a course for a period of time. You're actually selling a course. Someone purchases, it's a one-time purchase, they get access to the course content. So it works really, really well if your business model is about selling access to that course or courses. The other thing that it does really, really well is if you're using multiple courses, it gives you the opportunity to slice, dice, and organize all of these courses into groupings based on categories, tags, all sorts of different ways. So it gives you a lot of flexibility in how you display and put these courses together so that if someone is looking through a course or courses, they have the ability to do that. Now, you're still going to have the sales page content on each one, but you can organize the way that these courses are presented to the potential learner, the potential buyer. And in general, again, this is general, if you have a course that is more about content-driven persuasion. What I'm talking about there is it's very straightforward, letting people know this is what the course is about, this is what they get, this is who it's for, how much it costs, do they want to learn this stuff? Again, it works really, really well for that type of sale. It doesn't mean it's exclusively for content-driven persuasion, but it works very, very well and easily where you have one page, a full description of the course, and an opportunity to buy. Remember, we talked about the graphic, the description, and the enrollment or registration or buy now button. So it works very well when it's a straightforward kind of sale for a course and you have multiple courses. So those are the things to think about there. The other thing I want you to consider is the pricing. If you're going to be selling a course or courses that are low priced or medium priced, and again, medium is your medium, not a set price, but it's where your market perceives medium or low priced is. It works very, very well there as well. And part of the reason is because it's that content driven persuasion. Again, that changes a little bit when you're selling more expensive products. So if you look at your 4 criteria, the type of sales page you should use. For the most part, the sales page that comes with LearnDash, the course sales page, the description, the featured image, that is more than enough to get started. So I recommend that if you just start off with one course, get started with this and just play around with it, see what you can do with it, and make sure that you have your criteria, those 4 things to consider. They fit into this kind of little map. Oh, what's next? Well, that is if you have what I'm calling complex sales. So we had sort of simple, flexible sales. I suggested that you use the built-in LearnDash plugin sales page that gets created with the course. What about if you have a little more complex sales on your site or in your campus? Well, I'm going to suggest that you can consider using the cart product sales pages. And when would you want to use this? Well, there's a couple things you might want to consider when you're looking at using the shopping cart catalog or the product catalog. And if you can be used with one or multiple courses. If you only want to sell one course, you can certainly do that. It can be used to do multiple courses. And the thing that's when you're doing multiple courses, you have to remember that it is a shopping cart catalog that is presenting your course content. So it can be a little more less focused on selling the individual course because it is a shopping cart presenting a catalog that you just happen to have courses in. Okay? What it does do, you can do one or multiple courses, that's fine. What it does do very well compared to just the traditional LearnDash plugin sales page is it allows you to do things like upsell, bundle, and cross-sell courses. So if you have a number of different courses and those courses are individual courses and perhaps you have 3 or 4 other courses perhaps that might be associated with that topic, you can do things in the shopping cart like cross-sell. If you want to give people the opportunity to buy multiple seats, for example, or bundle courses together, it's very, very flexible when you use a shopping cart to present that information as opposed to just having a course in your LearnDash site that has the description or the sales page for a single course. So if you're going to be doing or bundling these together, again, consider using the catalog or create it as a product in a shopping cart. Now, in one of the original ones, I put membership site in there, or membership site plugin or gateway. I want you just to think for this particular part think of WooCommerce or Easy Digital Downloads or any of the traditional shopping carts that work directly within WordPress. And these are the ones where I'm talking about adding a product to the catalog of your shopping cart and using that to sell your course. You can still do organization by categories, for example, and tags. It's a shopping cart. You can all do searches and sorts all through those, so it will do that as well. It's also best when you're doing, again, content-driven persuasion. Now, most of the shopping carts in a catalog, you'll have like a short description and a long description, and you can add a whole bunch of information, but it tends to be more content-driven. What I mean by that is it's telling people what it is they get, as an example. What are the different pieces of it? What's the brief description of it? How many do they want to buy? 1 or 10, for example, seats or registrations for 1 or 10 people. So this is, again, a sales shopping cart offer. You have to make sure that this is something that I need to I need to consider when I'm selling my courses. The other thing is when I say complex sales, you have to remember with the shopping cart, if you're going to be selling more than courses, perhaps you're selling physical products, perhaps you're selling downloadable products as an example, or ebooks, or software, or services, or other pieces that are not course related, it's probably a good idea to use the shopping cart, because you're probably going to have those other products as in your catalog, those other services, as products alongside your courses in the catalog. So if you're doing complex sales where it's just more than courses, and you're not doing tons and tons of courses, but you're doing multiple courses, and you need to make sure that you can either bundle or put those together or offer upsells with additional services, a shopping cart's not a bad idea. It's not one that I generally use for sales pages. Remember, I'm talking about sales pages for courses, but it is an opportunity to do it. What's the next one after? I'll talk about low and medium price. I just didn't want to skim over that one. Again, same reason as in the LearnDash plugin, low and medium priced, it works well. If you get into very, very expensive courses, it's probably not the best fit. And you'll see in the next section that we go, the next little lesson we copy. But low and medium works very, very well again. Okay. Now I just want to make sure I got a caveat here as well. If I say, I'm talking right now, I didn't say don't use a shopping cart to sell your courses. I said I'm talking about the shopping cart for the sales pages to sell your courses. I'm talking about persuading and influencing people to purchase your course by creating a sales page that's built into the shopping cart. You can still actually run the payment and the registration through a shopping cart. I'm talking about the sales pages right now. So I just want to make sure that's clear for everyone as we're moving forward on this. I'm not talking about don't use a shopping cart. I'm talking about sales pages. What about if you're selling services, digital downloads, face-to-face products and services? What about you've got a much more complex sale? Well, in many cases, when you're doing that, you'll probably want to use a shopping cart. And I just want to make sure that I make clear on this particular second kind of sales page, you can use a shopping cart to take payments in any of the 3 types of sales pages. I'm talking about using the product catalog for the sales page for the course. All I'm talking about is the product catalog in a shopping cart. Okay, so product sales pages from the shopping cart. So it means adding a product to the shopping cart catalog. So just make sure that they understand that that's all I'm talking about. Not taking the payment for the purchase of a course, just for displaying the sales page information for people to look at and read before they decide to purchase. Okay, so complex sales where you're using more than courses, you might want to consider using the product catalog in a shopping cart like WooCommerce or Easy Digital Downloads. Those are the 2 that we use that run directly on WordPress. You can sell 1 or multiple courses with a shopping cart in the catalog. So I would normally suggest if you are going to do this, it's best for multiple courses. But you can sell a single course just using the product page, the product catalog page in your shopping cart. It will do both, not a problem. It does really, really well if you're going to be doing things like upsells or bundling courses together, or if you have a number of courses that perhaps are related and you may have the ability to cross-sell on the checkout page to say, hey, you're buying this course, what about if you add this course because it's related? So if you want to do things like upsell, bundle, cross-sell courses at the checkout, again, the shopping cart's a good idea. Using the product catalog as a sales page, it just gives you a lot more flexibility if you want to do these upsells and cross-sells. It still allows you to do organize your courses by categories and tags. It is a full-fledged shopping cart catalog of products and services, so you can actually organize them the way that you need to. It works really, really well, again, with content-driven persuasion. If you're familiar with most product catalogs, and I'll give you an example in the WooCommerce one, when you add a product to WooCommerce, you can add a featured image, you can add a gallery of images, you get to put in a short description, and then you get the ability to put in a long description. Now, most WooCommerce product catalog pages or product pages from the catalog, that short description and the longer description, they're best for straightforward, again, content-driven persuasion. It allows you to tell what it's about in the short description, and then detailed one you can get into who it's for, what's included, all that kind of information is available to you. So it does very well for content-driven persuasion, and you can sell low and medium priced items from a product sales page using the shopping cart. Now, one of the things that you can't do with this when you're selling courses is, remember, the LearnDash course. When you use the LearnDash course sales page, you have the option of showing all of the content of the course as a list of lessons and modules on the sales page. If you're using the product catalog from your shopping cart as the sales page, it's difficult to actually show the actual course content on that product sales page from the shopping cart. It's not impossible, but it's more difficult. If you're using the LearnDash plugin sales page, you actually have to turn it off if you don't want it to show up. So a little bit different opportunity, but again, you might want to consider it, again, if you have multiple items, products, services, and you need to cross-sell, upsell, that kind of thing. Okay? So what about if you need maximum persuasion? Well, that's what we're going to cover in this lesson. And here's what I want you to think about for maximum persuasion. I want you to think about large, expensive courses. What do I mean by that? Well, you'll usually find when you have a large course, a big course that has lots of lessons, lots of topics, it solves a big, big, big problem, you'll find that long form sales page that's directly on your WordPress site. It works really, really well. You're going to use those WordPress sales pages if you're selling a course, not courses, but a course with things like coaching and a membership site. Membership site plugins can be used for selling individual courses, a couple individual courses, but they become cumbersome if you're selling a larger number of courses. So if you're using a membership site plugin, it's often easier to use the traditional long form sales page as a WordPress page just on your WordPress site. If you're selling access to a membership site, if you're including coaching in with a course or a very, very complex course, those are the kind of things that you want to look at, that traditional long form sales page. Again, when I say course, I say large, expensive course. If you have, I'll give you an example. Let's say you have a site that has 7 courses, but those 7 courses are perhaps a process, and those 7 courses usually follow each other in a sequence. So you're bundling these lessons together, bundling these big courses. That works best if you use that long form sales page, just a regular WordPress page. This is often called that traditional sales page. And I mentioned that before. And I want you just to remember, when we go over these, you'll see that they're quite a bit different than a product page from the shopping cart or a course page as a sales page from the LearnDash plugin. So traditional sales page, you often find this in the internet marketing world or the online marketing world, digital marketing, they'll use this kind of format. And again, it works well with these kind of pieces. And the most important part is the type of persuasion that you'll find in these long forms, text-heavy sales pages. They're emotional sales. They often involve lots of testimonials, personal stories, examples of the problem and the solution that is being presented with the course as something that you're going to be able to solve, and why people should do it so they can relate to it emotionally and get emotionally involved in the sale. These kind of sales pages are not about, you get 17 lessons and it's 4 hours. It's not about the content. It's about the story and how you as the teacher, you as the person that's providing the solution, how they can identify with you the problem that you solved. And they get the feeling that not only you can solve it, but there's other people have done it before, where there's a lot of social proof required. Testimonials. These tend to be text heavy. They don't have to be, but they tend to be text heavy. And these ones work very, very well if you have videos as part of the sales process. Videos make it, videos worth how many words? Videos, if done properly, can be very, very powerful to use to persuade and influence people. And in fact, you can use part of the videos in a course on a traditional sales page, just as a way to get people engaged before they purchase. These ones usually are used with medium or higher priced products. The reason being is because it's a more complex sale in terms of the persuasion that's required to get someone to raise their hand and say, yeah, I want to buy it. So what do I actually put in terms of text and pictures in my sales page? Well, let's take a quick look at that. I've included a template here. I'll just go over the template briefly and tell you when this template should be used, or maybe when you can consider using it when you're writing out your course descriptions. And again, this is not mine. This one, I believe, is a template that I picked up from Udemy or one of the other sites. And it's just a good framework to start laying out how you're going to persuade and influence people to take your course. This template I recommend that you use for those first two types of sales pages I talked about. The first one being the LearnDash plugin course page, or the course sales page, and the second one being adding or using the shopping cart product page as the sales page. So those are content-driven sales, and this template, or this kind of template, should work well in that particular case. You'll also notice that I've got the word featured image plus purpose at the top. Obviously there's no image there, so I'm suggesting that you have a strong featured image, and that image also include either the title or the purpose of the course. What's the course about? Remember that when people go to take a look at a course, the first thing that they're drawn to is that image, and use every little bit of the image they can to persuade and influence. Let people know what the purpose of the course is, so they can either raise their hand and go, is this something I need to do or not need to do? It's the first check. So make sure you clarify the purpose of the course up front. And a good idea to do that is with the image. Right away too, that you might want to do is, if you look down in the text below, it says, right here, it says course description and big fat claim. What am I talking about is that big fat claim. One of the things that people might go and they say, okay, great, I understand that, that's about this. So what? What does that mean to me? What you want to do in the description or at the top of the sales page, you want to make sure that you make some kind of claim. At the end of the course, what's going to happen? If they take this course, what is going to happen? What will they have learned? For example, are you going to teach someone to build a WordPress site in 2 hours? Are you going to teach people how to use a piece of software? Are you going to teach people how to cook a recipe? What's the claim that you're making? Make sure that that's up front. And it's not just that you're going to tell them to do something, but it needs to be specific. What to do and what they can expect at the end of it. So you're going to make sure you have some kind of big fat claim there. A lot of times you'll see maybe a subtitle, and testimonials sometimes work well at the top. Again, depending what it is you're selling, just lets people know, hey, this is real. Other people have used it. And you'll see that we go down here through the template. We've got a description, again, of what the course is about and what it is that it's fixing. What's the problem and what's it's fixing. And they've got some promotional items here about all the people that have loved it and seen it. And it tells people what they'll learn. What are the parts that they're going to learn? The interesting thing that I found here is when you use this format for your sales page, the people are going to learn here, what you can do is you can just use the lessons of the course as the things that they're going to learn. That actual title of the lessons, you can set it up as what they're going to learn. So you're going to tell people what are they going to learn. That should be in there. Any requirements? Do they need to be rocket scientists? Is it for immediate, intermediate, and advanced learners only? Should they have taken the other course? People want to know, where do I fit in? Is this something I'm going to be able to do? More information in terms of the technical details. How much content am I going to get? Do I get templates? Am I going to be able to talk to someone? How much content do I have? Is it text and video? Can I download other pieces? And more importantly, it's like, who is it for? Is this really for me? Is this something that I'm going to be able to apply to my unique situation? So here's just a basic description I've included as a template. It's something that you can use on all of your sales pages that are content-driven persuasion courses. So think about this. This is not you're going to use necessarily on a long form sales page, but if you're using your shopping cart product catalog as a sales page, or if you're using the LearnDash course page as a sales page, this is a good format to get started with. Works well on each individual course, and it's something that's easily replicatable if you are doing multiple courses, and more importantly, everyone can see that all of the courses follow the same format if you're selling multiple ones, and people tend to be a little more comfortable when all of the pages and course descriptions follow the same formula. Okay, so take a look at that, read through, see what applies to you, and then maybe add it to a course and see, okay, that's great, I get it. And is it something that I can use? Are the pieces appropriate to my market, to the people that I'm trying to persuade? And how can I set it up that best suits my particular courses? Okay, let's create a course sales page. How does it work? Well, we'll actually set one up right now. I'm just in a WordPress campus site. I'm going to go either to LearnDash courses, or I can actually do it right from the top here and go new course. So I'm going to create a new course. I'm in LearnDash. I'm talking about creating the course sales page right now. So this one is going to be a course, and I'm going to call the course Course Sales Pages. And again, remember what we talked about. You want to make sure that you have some good course titles. This is not. This is just an example. And this WordPress site, in this case, we're using the Gutenberg, which is the new content editor that's here. Whatever you're using for your WordPress visual editor is fine. If you're using, for example, Elementor, which is the other one that we use, up to you. And again, some of the different pieces are here. We've got an SEO plugin that's a little bit different. Yours may look a little bit different than this, but when you're doing LearnDash, you're going to find the course pages. You're going to be able to have a title of the course, and you're going to put the description in here. And in my case, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to paste. Not necessarily the best idea, but I did this just for showing right now. I pasted what was in what? Yeah, that Word template that I had before. So here's just an example of pasting it in and using that as the starting point. And again, you can do all the different edits that are appropriate to you, but add your text, all of the copy that you need to have in that course description. Course description, big fat claim. Usually the description is right in here. So we want to put in, what's the claim? What they'll get. At the end of the course. Put that in there. Make sure that's the big piece. Make sure that stands out and everyone knows exactly what it's about. You want to make sure that people, that you grab their attention and they know, hey, this is something that I want to be able to do in the course. Okay. Again, you can go through all of that. I'm just going to leave it there for now. I want to go back and make sure that you see in the document the featured image. Again, it's just a WordPress featured image. I picked my image. Again, I have a whole course on how to create the best images so that your courses look good. But I just wanted to show you, in this case, we've got a image for the course. I'm going to set it. So I've got a featured image there. And in this case, for LearnDash, this is a paid course. So I want to make sure I go to settings. And I want people to have to buy it, as an example, or register for it. But they have a way to take the course in this example. So I'm just going to click free. And I'm going to publish. And you're going to have a sales page at the end of this. And I'll show you what it looks like. We got this. Wait until it publishes. Let's copy the link. We'll open up a new incognito window. I'm going to paste it. And we have a sales page that is done directly within WordPress in the plugin. You can see I've got a featured image. Log in to enroll. It's a free course. I'm not enrolled now. There's the text and the information. Now, one of the questions I have is, where are the lessons? By default, the course sales page will always show the lessons and topics at the bottom. We just created this course. I didn't add any lessons or modules to it, so they don't show up. If at any reason you've already created the course modules and lessons, if you take a look in some of the other options here, display and content options, do you want to show course materials or certificate? Course content, if you want to have it available all the time, if there is any modules and lessons, it will show up there. If you want to show it only to people who have enrolled for it, you can select that one. Okay, so a lot of flexibility here in terms of what shows up and what doesn't from the course on the LearnDash course sales page. Again, we don't have any content on this test course I just put together, and actually have a whole other course that we can look at on how to make the courses look good. But I just want to show you easy way to get one in. It's a sales page. It's done quickly. It's ready to go. You can start selling. In this next example, I'm going to show you how to get set up creating a new product in your shopping cart. In this case, it's WooCommerce, so that you have the course sales information just in the product catalog for WooCommerce. And here's a live example of one that we did up. It's the 8 steps to selling courses online. It's a $47 product. It's got a brief description here. It's got a featured image here. And again, we've got a detailed description here. So how did that actually get created? How did that come into being? One thing to notice here, if you look at the top, you'll see it's got the regular menu for the site, the header and the footer. Shopping catalogs, the LearnDash, the LearnDash course sales page, the product sales pages in WooCommerce. It's part of the site, so they're usually set up that the header, the footer, the rest of the site is showing up. And you'll see when sales pages, these tend to be removed. But there's lots of options for the people here, so they can go to a different course or product or pick other menus to choose from. So it gives people a lot of flexibility to move around. It's less salesy for you. You have less control over the sales process because you're giving people a lot of options. And again, in shopping carts, there's way more options even than in this traditional sales page from LearnDash. So how did we get this page with a short description, a long description, an image, an add to cart button? Let's take a look. What I've done is I've opened up, and you see at the top here it says edit product. I opened up the same particular product, and I'll show you what the pieces are in place here. What is it? Well, when you open up or add a new product to the catalog in WooCommerce, you'll find that it starts off and it's got the ability to put a large, big, long description. And I just used the exact same template that we used previously, just same content, target audience, requirement, who's it for, what are they going to get from the course, how to build a LearnDash campus, This was just the course description that we used before. It's the big one. Now the difference is, in this case, is if you look down below, there's also a place for a short description. And the short description is where I've put that big fat claim. Find out how any author, coach, speaker, trainer, expert can deliver and sell courses in less than a day, even if they're pressed for time, hate technology, and have no idea how to create an online course. Tells them what they do and don't need to be. Couldn't be easier. So it's just a salesy bit of information for people that they see right at the start. And again, this one is the short description. The one above is the full description. Okay, two different pieces. You don't have to use, or if you're not going to use a big description, just make the important stuff go in the short description. I'll show you why in a second. Okay, two areas for the course content, sales content. The text is there. The other thing I want you to notice is there's a product image. Remember when we looked before WordPress, you always see a featured image, one image. You have a product can have an image, but you can also add a gallery of additional images. So if your particular product has, let's say it's got 4 lessons and those lessons each have their own graphic, you could put the main graphic for the course, but you could also add individual images for lessons or modules or parts of the course. So you're not limited to just the feature image. You can have a complete gallery of them. So a couple pieces there. We've got full description, short description, product image, and product gallery. And where does this all show up? Well, let's take a look again. Remember we've got, I said, the salesy part. Find out how any author, coach, speaker. That short description is the one that shows up at the top next to the image or the featured image for the product. Okay, this is the product catalog page that we're using to sell a course. Course featured image. In this case, it's the product featured image. This is the product short description, and we've got the important salesy part about that big fat claim. That one's up top. The details, the long description, is here. And this is where all of the details from that template that I talked about, this is where they got started. Okay? It's a sales page. It's a sales page. It's different than the other one that we looked at, which was specifically generated just by adding the course and Learn Dash. This one, we added the same information to a product in our shopping cart, which happened to be WooCommerce. Okay? So next one I'm going to show you, a little bit different. It's used for the higher priced, medium priced items where you're selling one particular product or a large course that might be require more persuasion and influence and tends to be an emotional sale as opposed to just what it does and all of the different steps and what are the requirements and who it's for. One of the toughest things to write, but if it's done properly, can have astronomical sales can be generated from them. Very, very persuasive, used when the price of the course is generally a little bit higher than single courses. You'll find that a lot of detail goes into these because you're actually taking the buyer on a journey. So I'm going to take a look, stream through this particular sales page. This isn't about how to write one, but I'm going to show you some of the pieces that are there. And on this page, you'll take a quick look at it and you'll see there's a couple things that are unique to it. First thing, above the fold, the first part of the page, big fat claim. Remember we talked about that? We've got to notice this in chunks. We've got chunks of information, dark background, light background, dark background, and then we've got a call to action. We've got bullet points or chunks of information where people can scan. We've got more chunks broken up, image, text, call to action, image, text, call to action. Okay, so lots of details, information there about a process or a set of steps. Testimonials, different background color, third-party references, FAQs, call to action, details if you just want to talk to someone. get started, we go to a page where they have the buy now buttons, 2 options to pick from the course. Single course or perhaps an upsell one. More testimonials, more FAQs, and if you're stuck, a call to action. This kind of sales page, you don't need it for a simple course. You need it when you have a complex sale, something that's complex, that requires a lot of information and has to get people emotionally involved in your course to be able to say, and yeah, I'm willing to take it. I'm willing to spend $1,000. I'm willing to spend $400 to get this outcome. Okay, so we went through the different types. This last one doesn't get used as often if you're doing multiple courses, but it allows you to create big bundles of more expensive bits of information for your e-learning business, for your education business. Very, very powerful tool. The best part is that once you get a template that works with the chunks that we were just talking about, whether it be a claim, a call to action, the testimonials, the FAQs, good images that are important to the particular content of the course you're selling, bullet points, all of these things. Once you've got a good template in place, you can use it over and over and over again, just changing the words and the pictures to support the course and the message you're trying to get across with the sale of your course. Okay, long form sales page generally looks like that, and it's got a buy now button for the course and or big product that you're selling. So at the end of the day, what kind of sales page should you create for your course? Well, we went through the 3 different kinds of sales pages. We went through 4 things to consider. We took a look at when you should use each of those 3 types based on the kind of business you're running. I used some live examples. And what I'm going to do right now is we'll kind of bring this in for landing, and I'll share with you which ones we use and why at the end of the day you'll probably end up using the same setup that we are. So how do you pick the right sales page for yourself? And this is what we've done. So the very first thing to really think about is the goal. It's like we want to sell more courses, we want to teach more, we want to share, and it has to do with persuading and influencing. So whatever you end up deciding, you've got to make sure that you test it and you're always tweaking it to optimize the number of people that you get enrolled in the course. So irrespective of the type, just make sure you're selling courses or you're able to get people enrolled. That's the goal of any sales page. Okay, so just keep that always at the front of your mind. Which one should you end up using? Well, I'm going to share a little secret with you. You're probably going to end up using 2 of them. You're going to end up using the Learn Dash Basic one, and you're going to end up using the long form sales page. The shopping cart one, although I have seen a number, and we've done a number of sites with using the product catalog as the place for your course sales page, I don't recommend it. The most flexible one is just using the Learn Dash course page. It gets generated, and you end up using these long form ones when you're bundling them together in large courses and you need a more persuasive sale. Things like videos, fancy graphics, testimonials, blocks of text, bullet points, FAQs, testimonials. So my recommendation is start off using the standard Learn Dash course description as your sales page. And if you find that you're not selling enough or that you need more information to persuade and influence, go to the WordPress regular page long form sales template. Now, what we've done is there's some additional courses that you're probably going to want to check out. First one is we've got a course on how to make your Learn Dash course description and sales page, how to make that look good and optimize how you've got it set up to persuade and influence and get enrollments. And then the other thing that we put together is we have another small course just on creating sales pages, WordPress pages, long form sales pages for your courses, just using the Elementor template and some blocks that are available right within the Elementor page builder. So which ones are you going to end up using? Start with the Learn Dash course or your LMS plugin course description as a sales page. If you are having trouble getting it to do what you want, persuade and influence the target market that you've got, then you want to look at the regular WordPress long form sales page. So I hope you enjoyed this. Make sure that you go through all of the videos, follow all the quizzes, look for the resources that we've attached to each of the lessons and modules. And if you have any questions, just ask in the comments, and make sure to get involved and try this out. You've got an absolutely huge opportunity with an education business. There's a quest for more information and solutions to problems that your potential market has. So create some courses, get your campus set up, get people engaged, build a social environment where people can learn from your experience as you sell more, teach more, and share your expertise. This is James speaking. I hope you enjoyed these lessons, and I look forward to working with you in the future.